morning, I'm Ashley Locke.
And I'm Brandon Murray.
We want to thank the LEF for our 2020 grant for the Black Studies Bus Tour.
Ashley and I teach Black Studies 1 and 2 at the high school. Black Studies is a course that's unique to St. Louis area curriculum. It's a co-taught class where we blend Black history and Black literature as a way of grappling with and accounting for the past and also searching for solutions to the present. Taking our lead from Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's The Danger of a Single Story, we aim to focus on stories using theory and experience to tell those stories of people who've too long been silenced.
Some museums and historical sites use a model of truth-telling to present the story of an event. They describe the truth as a concept with 4 aspects, including the forensic truth, so examining the actual site and artifacts from a site, first-hand experiences, or the personal truth, master narratives, or the social truth, and finally, a narrative that contributes to remedying a wrong or an injustice, and we call that the healing truth. These are all intertwined aspects of truth, and something that we ask the students to examine as they embarked on this assignment. These truths are applicable to any site in St. Louis, any site in America that has been shaped by the ripple effects of injustice and oppression. For example, you could consider the influence that the enslavement, Jim Crow laws, and the civil rights movement have had on our heritage and the cultural institutions over the years. And we use this model to explore the history of St. Louis with our students. For this particular project, students were assigned a historical site or a person to research and later expected to present their research on site. Some students created paintings, some made scrapbooks, others reproduced the entire site in a diorama for what ultimately became the virtual Black Studies Bus Tour. As the pandemic halted our field trip, we were hoping to reschedule in the spring, but we thank LEF for supporting this effort and helping our students understand that history happens right in their backyard.
In this video, we will highlight a few stops on our civil rights bus tour, along with some of the research that our students completed last spring. Our first stop on that tour will be Venable Park, formerly known as Birney Park.
We begin our tour at Venable Park. Many of you may be aware of the changes to the name of the park, but we asked our students to focus on what is created, not only what is destroyed. What we discovered was that Howard Venable is known for the revolutionary changes he made in the field of ophthalmology. After completing his residency at Homer G. Phillips Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri, he joined the faculty of Washington University in St. Louis in 1958 as the first African American to work on the staff. He had a desire to train young Black students interested in ophthalmology, and in St. Louis he was in charge of 3 ophthalmology departments: St. Mary's Infirmary, People's Hospital of St. Louis, and Homer G. Phillips Hospital. He became chairman of the Department of Ophthalmology at Homer G. Phillips Hospital in 1943. In over 36 years, he taught more than 100 ophthalmology students, 39 of which were African American students. He had high expectations for his residents before he would let them treat any patient. He made sure that all of his residents practiced on animals before they could treat anyone, because at the time they didn't use microscopes or other forms of magnification. Venable knew that many Black people suffered from eye diseases like glaucoma and cataracts, which occur at a greater rate in African Americans than in the white population. Working at Homer G. Phillips Hospital, he trained African American ophthalmologists to treat the diseases at one of the few Black-controlled hospitals in the nation. He left his position at the head of the Department of Ophthalmology in 1979. In 1956, Dr. Howard Venable and his wife Katie purchased land in the Spady Meadows subdivision to build a $55,000 3-bedroom family home. Construction stopped when the city of Creve Coeur in St. Louis County refused to issue final building permits. To ensure the African American family could not move in, the city voted to turn the property into a public park and the nearly completed home into a clubhouse. Agreeing that this was racial discrimination, the St. Louis Civil Liberties Committee supported the Venable family in court. Much like he did with his residents, Dr. Venable went beyond his own family's situation to help educate others on housing discrimination. At a St. Louis Civil Liberties event on January 6, 1957, Dr. Venable, along with Mrs. Billy Ames, Mr. Donald Lowe, and Mr. P.C. Robinson, addressed the topic through a panel discussion on integrated housing. In November 2019, following 2 years of research by local resident Jim Singer and Venable Park Coalition members, the Creve Coeur City Council unanimously voted to rename the park H. Philip Venable Memorial Park. Our tour continues at Christ Church Cathedral in downtown St. Louis. In 1964, Martin Luther King traveled to St. Louis, where he delivered a sermon at Christ Church Cathedral. He demanded modifications to everyday life for African Americans and the poor. It was here that he pushed for a Bill of Rights for Negroes, which would help in the decline of illegitimate arrests and accusations by authority in St. Louis. During his speech, he focused on nonviolent direct action and economic justice for St. Louis's Black community. The mission of Christ Church Cathedral continues as their community focuses on social justice issues and gun violence in the city of St. Louis. At this stop, students will have the opportunity to stand at the pulpit where King gave his speech to present their research. Calvary Cemetery will be another stop on our tour, where students will visit the graves of Dred and Harriet Scott. One can only imagine the risks to their family as they decided whether or not to sue their enslaver for freedom at the old courthouse. Under the law of 1846, the issue considered by the court system was not whether all humans have the right to freedom, but a question of property rights. In spite of this manifest justice, Dred and Harriet Scott and 300 other enslaved people found the courage to come to the old courthouse seeking freedom. Though the Scott family didn't find the freedom that they sought during the legal challenge, their courage and determination in filing this case helped bring about the Civil War and freedom from enslavement for all Americans. It is at their gravesite that students will present their research on the lives of Dred and Harriet Scott. Since applying for the Black Studies Bus Tour grant in 2019, our class numbers have doubled. We are thrilled to serve more students at Ladue Horton Watkins and hope that they will have the opportunity to experience this tour in the spring of 2021. At next year's breakfast, we hope to bring you live student presentations from these sites. Thank you for your support.